Welcome back to Cyber Sea of Galilee, DSMME, on this beautiful feast, Saturday. And it is October 16th and a feast day of a saint that many of us love dearly. Why? Because she was given a very special gift to give to the church. Her name is Saint Margaret Mary. She lived in the 17th century and she was born in France. And the amazing thing is that she had a very difficult life. You might want to read her life story or something about her. She grew up with a lot of sorrow, and many people would look at that and say, gosh, I don't know that I would be so strong. Probably she didn't think she would be either, but God knew why he was asking so much of her, and she continued to give her yes to the cross. And God knew why, because he was preparing her to receive a gift that was anything but normal. It was the most extraordinary gift. She entered the Visitation Convent, became a nun, and one day, and it was December 27th, 1673, and she was praying in the chapel, and all of a sudden she saw the face of Christ. Not just his face, but it extended down, this vision, to his heart, and his heart was aflame. And his heart had a crown of thorns around it, and his heart was blazing forth, and he was offering Margaret Mary his heart. Now, when we consider that, we think, oh my gosh, what would the response any of us have to something like that? Few of us would have been able to accept that kind of a gift and deal with it well. And I can't even imagine what St. Margaret Mary was made out of as she saw the second person of the Blessed Trinity extending his unflamed, because of love, heart to her. And yet, we might think, wow, what a gift that would be, but then came the suffering again intensely, because who was going to believe that this sister, this nun, saw the Sacred Heart of Jesus? Who was really going to believe that? Who was going to support her? Who was going to say, well, what was it like and how did you feel? They were all going to wonder if she had her wits about her, weren't they? Because that is the way we tend to deal with some very unusual spiritual phenomenon, sometimes truthfully so, but other times God does bend down and put himself right there visibly in front of some of the great saints. And so I think in the Feast of St. Margaret Mary, what I most admire about her is she had a receptivity formed from the cross by which she could receive the revelations of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and translate them always into love, no matter how the world would respond to her. Eventually the world would learn that she was truly seeing the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And why did God do that? Just to say over and over again, I love you, I love you. You know, God always gives us what we need in any time of history. And that particular time was a time of great heresies. France was falling away from the church. It was the Jansenist heresy. It was a lot of selfish heresies that just totally forgot God and thought only about self, and then redirected, so to speak, the spiritual energies of the people as they fell into the heresy, directed them away from God. And so what did we need? We needed a major spiritual boost. Well, that was right when the revelation that had really been given to St. John the Apostle at the Last Supper, when he leaned on the breast of Christ and he heard the heartbeat of the Savior, that would then play out through history. And at this particular moment in the 17th century, we get the revelation of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. My mother raised us to love the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And I always think of her when I think of this prayer, which we will end Cyber Sea of Galilee, DSMME. Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make our hearts, my heart, your heart, our hearts, like thine. God bless you from Cyber Sea of Galilee, DSMME, on this beautiful feast of St. Margaret Mary.